So we're going to take a look at H.R. 127. Okay, what is H.R. 127? That is a bill that has been brought up into the House of Representatives that is a gun control bill. This is titled the Sabika Sheikh Firearm Licensing and Registration Act. This was introduced by Representative Sheila Jackson Lee out of Houston, and this is all being referred to the House Committee on the Judiciary. So what I'm going to do, I'll give you a link in the description to the full text of this. I'm just going to go down this. I'm not reading the whole thing in its entirety, but just hit the highlights of it. This is just about the worst proposed gun control legislation we've ever seen. This will all be done not under ATF, but all under the Attorney General. So first of all, this would require licensing of firearm and ammunition possession and registration of firearms. And there would be a database and a registration of firearms that would be made. So you have to register what you have. If you loan it to someone, you have to fill out paperwork there to loan it to someone. One of the big things on this, in addition to just a registration, which is already like a big giant, red flag, we have the Attorney General shall make the contents of the database accessible to all members of the public. Yeah, they're going to make a registration of all of the firearms that you own and make that searchable by the general public where anybody can look it up. Anyone that's just curious about you could go look up and see if you own firearms and then go be like, no, I don't want to consider you for this job, or no, I'm not going to let you hang around in this group or whatever. And then there's the obvious thing that this is a list of valuables that are in your house that criminals can look up and figure out what is in there. You wouldn't want like a publicly searchable list of all of your jewelry or all of your antiques or all of any valuables that you own, because that would attract people to come to your house and steal them, which this would do as well. Let's see, what else you have to do here to get this license? Well, you have to have a criminal background check. Well, you already have to go through a background check to buy a gun, so what is the point of that? You have to undergo a psychological evaluation conducted in accordance with all of this other nonsense on there. You have to be evaluated and psychoanalyzed by some professional hired by who knows who to approve you for this. Have to undergo a training course certified by the Attorney General, which training is good, and I don't know, maybe I could be up for some sort of training if this wasn't something being done by the government. I mean, this is going to be set up by the Attorney General, so we know this is probably going to be some sort of anti-gun nonsense that's going to be all filled in this thing instead of actual gun safety. And you have to get some sort of insurance policy on there for all of that. There will also be an antique firearm display license if you want to have an antique firearm to have in your house, because apparently people buying antique firearms and going out and committing crimes with them is a major problem in this country. And then a separate military style weapon license. This will go down here in a bit to tell us exactly what military style weapons are. And of course there will be an $800 fee to this, because you have to pay a fee to exercise all of your other constitutional rights. And then they give the list of what makes a military style weapon here. There's a list of specific firearms. It's the ones you would expect to be on there. And this more or less has followed the 1994 assault weapons ban. It still includes, stupid things like a bayonet lug on there, because so many people are getting stabbed by bayonets that have been attached to rifles. I mean, that's just a massive thing that's happening everywhere in the streets. Oh, I got run through with a bayonet. those dang awful people doing that. And of course they have to put, all of the penalties on there for this, 75,000 minimum up to 150,000 and between 15 and 25 years. And this also goes into a section about prohibiting possession of certain types of ammunition. This is largely going to be 50 caliber or greater. So once again, so much crime happening with 50 caliber out there. And then even though this is not ammunition, it's thrown under here, large capacity ammunition feeding device, which is going to be anything that holds more than 10 rounds. But if you have a tube magazine for 22, you can load that up with more than 10 rounds, because apparently tube magazines with 22 is okay. So yeah, this is not just a little bit crazy. This is actually insane. So what is going on here with it? Well, number one, I think it's a little bit of just like throwing around stuff and seeing what will stick. I kind of think that they don't plan on this to actually go forward. I think they know that this is going to be too crazy. And all this stuff where you have to have like psychological evaluations and stuff, they're not going to be able to get all that set up in time and running to be able to do that. And they're not going to get the training courses figured out in time there. My word, the government can't do that in the time frame that this says to do here. I think what they're doing is they're just throwing a lot of crazy stuff out there, just like insane stuff. And they're just going to do that. And then they'll throw something that's bad, but just not completely batcrap crazy like this. And then that will seem reasonable by comparison, and people will go along with that. So right now, this is just a bill in the House. And the best thing to do is contact your congressman. This is in the House, so contact your congressman. This isn't anything over in the Senate yet, so your senators don't really have a whole lot to do with it. If you don't know who your congressman is, there's a nice little website you can go to and put in your zip code, and it will tell you who your congressman is. So go and contact them and let them know that you really do not want to have anything to do with this or with anything else. And I think you really need to emphasize that other bills as well, because once again, I think that this is just going to be a continual fury of just throwing in a bunch of insane stuff and then tossing in something not quite as insane so that can seem reasonable. So contact your congressman about this and let them know that you don't like it. If you found this video useful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and a like. You can go down into the comment section and leave any thoughts you have down there. And if you're interested, you can also subscribe to my channel and click the little bell notification to make sure that you catch all the videos that I post so you don't miss anything. I'm Jeremy with Poindexter G, and we'll see you next time.